Dwight, you want to share one more time about what happened with the FBI? Or you just want to can it? What do y'all want? You want to hear any more about God's stories?
Yes.
Are you sure? You want to go home and eat?
One of these stories that I hope you get a grip on,
It's the
because
last one.
a lot of people hear stories or they see that we have things, and they come to us and they'll ask foolish things. And if we don't give them money, I'll never see them again. Okay, I'm not here to write out checks. I'm not God. As a matter of fact, when we had things, I'll be happy to show anybody my tax return. We made good money, and I don't know many people ever that I've ever met that gave it all away. And that's the story of our life. We never held on. We've given it enormously into missions. 10% God expects from everybody.
Amen.
But when you make more, He's expecting more.
Amen.
And He doesn't care about your stock accounts, how much you've got stashed away, but what He cares about is your heart.
Amen.
And Zacchaeus gave away 50%, so that was a good start. He's a good man in the Bible. Anyways, I get this very last quick story. The FBI, some of you know, had haunted us for 4 years, and for a crime that we never did. Anyways, it got to the point after 4 years of haunting us, and they always threatened to throw me in prison. If you don't confess to this, when that didn't scare me, they said, if you don't confess to this, we're going to throw Connie in prison. And that scared me. And I was going to confess, and I'll tell you, she caught me. And I wanted to confess. Just, you want to protect your wife and your family at all costs. And I was willing to go to prison, be a prison minister. Anyways, after the end of 4 years, there was a lot of funny things that happened. Somebody came to me to tell me something, but I had told the FBI no more extensions. It's time to fight. Put up or shut up.
Amen.
For 4 years you've haunted me, and God gave me this strength. And He said, turn around and face Goliath and don't run anymore. So I turned and said, look, you want to indict me? Indict me. Now an indictment, I just want you to know this, in my business was just as good as you go to prison, even if you win. So I turned around and said, indict me. And boy, you could have heard them all running, because that means they have to prepare legal suits, documents, etc. And it turned out they were a little short-handed. How nice and convenient. So they said, look, we got to meet with you, because they said, you got to sign this paper. I said, I'm not signing any more papers. And if I didn't sign that paper, that means they had to file papers against me. So they were real eager to meet, and they said, look, so come and meet. So I went to meet with them. But before I did, I had a prayer meeting. And I called my friends around. Would that be okay? I called my closest friends, and I said, pray with me. I'm going to this meeting where they could affect my whole life. And after the prayer, they said these words to me, Dwight, you are going to face the spirit of greed. But God has given you a ram in the bush. So anyways, and the next day, oddly enough, in the mail came a piece of paper. And what I didn't tell you was when we faced the FBI, we sold our company. We sold our company to protect our employees. I turned down $1 million in a cash offer from ServiceMaster. Instead, I took $100,000 in stock in this other company, because ServiceMasters, who said they were a Christian group, said, we're going to fire your oldest employees. And I was saying, these are the people who came with us. They said, we just want the nurses. We don't care about your administrative people. I said, but they can't get a job. But this other company said, look, we'll keep your people in a job. We're not going to get rid of anybody. And they didn't say they were a Christian, but they certainly behaved like one. To make a long story short, we took $100,000 in that stock offer, and I don't believe in stock. Ask Steve Guy. Anybody around me? I'll tell you, get out of it, it's a gamble. Anyways, the $100,000, you know what we did with it? We gave it away. We didn't want a plan B, we wanted only a plan A. We decided we couldn't defeat the government. There's too many employees in the government, all like a bunch of sharks. So we took only God. We gave every penny away. So now I am 4 years later. I don't believe in stock. We've had this prayer, you're going to face the spirit of greed. I get a little envelope, and it says, the stock I got I couldn't sell for 4 years. I didn't think much about it. It just had to be 4 years later, after the prayer, we got this letter, and it said, you can now sell your stock. And the first wave of that stock, when we had 4 more coming, was $150,000. We looked at each other. We started doing the backwards jig. Said, man, look what happens when you turn to face Goliath. Well, I went to the meeting that Friday with the FBI. They're all around. And guess what they wanted? They met with me. They said, well, you got to plead guilty to this. I said, no way. You have to plead guilty to this. I said, no way. But you got to do something. We've worked on you for 4 years. So I'm not signing things I didn't do. And they said, well, you got to give us $150,000. That's what they said. My wife was there, and that's what she went, what? We didn't do anything. You know we didn't do anything. He said, who cares? He says, we will indict you. What does that mean to you? I said, well, so let me tell you my problem. I said, just so happens I just got $150,000, but that's all I got. And as soon as I finish with you guys, next year IRS is going to want money from me. And I can't pay the taxes on the $150,000 that I just got to pay you $150,000. And the guy looked at me and says, you don't need to worry. You're safe. We'll make it tax deductible. Yeah. I was like, whoa, new government. And anyways, my wife was like, we're not going to pay you a dime. And I said, yes, we are. We're settling. So she was so angry with me that night, or that day. She was like, you don't trust God, blah, blah. And I said, honey, God said He'd give us a ram in the bush. Exact figure that came in, exactly what they wanted, at the exact moment. I'm going to say that was the ram in the bush. You have no faith. Well, our friends called and said, we want to take you out to celebrate that very night, which was Friday. And Connie said, I don't want to celebrate. And I said, well, just come along, honey. We're going to have to move past this. What's done is done. And it's on my hands. If I didn't trust God, I didn't trust Him. But I feel like God was there for us every step of the way. Anyways, I felt this high. You ever been when your wife was telling you you were the lowest snail in the world? Yeah, well, I felt like I had no faith in God. And I'm a faith man. But, so anyways, that night we go out with our friends and we're celebrating. I tell them the story of the ram in the bush, and they're laughing, they're cheering. They're saying it's great. Connie's not saying anything. We go out to our car, get in our car, and it's late. It's about 11 o'clock. And this small black guy darts out of the bushes. And he says, sir, can I speak to you for a minute? And I said, sure, go ahead. Got a gun there? No, it was a joke. I didn't even have a gun. I said, sure you may. And he said, look, sir, he said, I need $20 for gas. I said, $20 for gas? But I was thinking, he looked like he was hiding in the bush. He's got on an outfit. It's got a badge. It says the hotel, the Omni Hotel. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to give you $20, but I'll take you and fill up your car with gas. And I was thinking, what kind of nut are you, Dwight? He could have a gun. So he gets in the car with Connie, myself, my friend, and we're driving. And he tells us this story. He says, you know, I'm a music minister. I've been out of a job for 3 months. I finally get a job, but I got to be able to get there, and I have no gas. And he's crying. I said, don't worry. We'll give you gas. We'll give you some money. He said, I was hiding there asking God to send the right man. You know, God doesn't leave anything unanswered. And he said these words to us. He said, when you came out, God said, that's him. And he says, you know what my God does? He said, no, what does your God do? He always gives me a ram in the bush. Even Connie laughed. We filled up his car. I put money in his hand. I don't know if he's an angel. I never saw him again. I didn't say, prove that's your... He went, what I want you to know is God leaves nothing to question.
Amen.
The question is this: how far will you go with God? Do you believe Him? And I'm going to go ahead and close if that's all right. I know we had some great scriptures.